Hi, and welcome to our first She Picked My Next Book reading challenge of 2024.
So about twice a year, we each pick a book for the other person to read and review. And it's a fun time for most of it.
Except when it's not.
Yes, if you've seen some of the other times we've done this challenge, it's not always been great, but we do always enjoy it.
Not always been great. That's kind of an understatement. But anyway, we usually give ourselves a 2-week time frame to finish reading the books. And yes, it is always an interesting time.
So let's go ahead and see what we picked for each other.
So I hope Kate goes easy on me this time.
Well, I'm praying on your goal of reading more Catholic fiction this year. So You're going to be reading The Power and the Glory by Graham Greene.
I remember that one. We unearthed it in one of our big bins of Catholic books. So, okay.
Yeah, she's a little beat up, but she is readable.
Okay, so let's see how many pages that is.
It's not that long.
But the print is small.
It's not that long.
It's over 200 pages. Yeah, it's not that long. I don't even know what this is about. Something about the state of Mexico. I don't know.
Not fun, because I don't know what it's about either.
Right, okay. So. The introduction is by John Updike, so I don't know. All right, well, okay, I said I wanted to read more Catholic fiction, so here we go. All right, so if I finish it, then I can check that off my list, so good motivation for that. Okay, and then I have a fun book for Kate. You're welcome.
Hey, you're the one who saddled me with all the bad books.
Okay,
I'm always the one in drawing the short straw in these videos.
That's true. Yeah, Kate has suffered at my hands, not on purpose, but sadly that is very true. Okay, but I have a fun book that she is really going to enjoy this time. A fun summer read. It was written by Amanda Lauer, who is one of the authors over at Catholic Teen Books. And it's one of her time travel books. Those are my favorite that she writes. I read it. I loved it. It was so much fun. It's called Royal and Ancient. And it is, that's all I'm going to say is it's a time travel book. This is a great fun book to read. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
So, and it's short. I like that.
It's not too short, but I hope there's a sequel to this. I already emailed the author after I read this and said, please, Amanda, write a sequel. So I think she might. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. It looks good. I like this kind of time period that I think she's traveling back to.
It's Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland. Okay. So that's always fun. So I'm looking forward to this. This actually looks good for once.
It's going to be good. You're going to love it. You're welcome. Okay, so it's the next day. Hooray, here I am with The Power and the Glory. Yeah, as Kate mentioned, that it was on our to-do list for 2024 to read more Catholic fiction. And this was a book that we specifically mentioned because we found a copy in one of our big bins of donated Catholic books. I've read, the first 11 pages, and honestly, I just hate it so far. The main character seems to be really befuddled. It's confusing for me to read. It's just, talking about old ships and women and beer, and I don't know. It's just not my vibe. However, I do know that this is considered a masterpiece or a really good book. Everyone should read it. So I'm going to stay optimistic, and I'm going to give it a fair chance. I'm going to read it. I can offer it up, right?
All right, so I'm here for my first update of Royal and Ancient by Amanda Lauer. And my first impressions are that it's going very well. I am definitely enjoying this book. I am on chapter 7, so 63 pages into the book. And it's a time travel story, and our main character has already made her time travel jump. She's now way back in Scotland. So that's been very interesting. The plot is still just kind of, gathering momentum, pushing forward a little bit, but she's exploring her new world right now. So that's fun to read. For the Scottish accents, I will say that the author, she writes in dialect to portray those, which is honestly slowing down my reading speed a little bit, but it's not really affecting my enjoyment of the book. But it's just interesting. I commend her for writing a whole book doing that.
Okay, so It's kind of late on a Monday night. It's VBS week, so I'm struggling to get my reading done, The Power and the Glory. I don't know, I'm about 75 pages in. It's about a priest who is living in a time of persecution in Mexico and what life is like for him and the other people who live there. So I get it, and writing's okay. It's just the tone that I'm really not liking, because it makes everybody seem really weird, and people just are not really weird. Like, the author is just showing all their quirks and idiosyncrasies, and he's not showing any of the joy that they might have in daily life. And I mean, it's really rare for people to live such joyless existences. We read Christ in Dachau last fall about the concentration camp, and even there were moments of joy and happiness, even in the midst of such terrible suffering. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, this is not my favorite writing style, but I'm going to persevere. I'm going to read my 16 pages before I go to sleep.
So I'm now further along into the book, done some more reading, and I have just been reading about how they celebrate Christmas and Advent, and that's been really fun. It's really sweet to see like their older traditions and how they used to do it. And the author has definitely put a lot of research and time into this book. I've been learning a lot about old Scotland, but just something about reading about the holidays I absolutely really love. So it's been one of my favorite parts about this book. And definitely, now that I'm quite further into it, it is sort of falling into like the romance book kind of category. Not in a bad way, but just in the fact that there isn't like a whole ton of like action or anything like super crazy going on right now. But she writes so beautifully about Scotland, and again, I am learning a lot, so it's been a very enjoyable time.
Halfway done. This reminds me of a book that you have to read because you were assigned it in high school, but you just don't really want to read it, but you have to, so getting through it. I mean, who says that this is a spiritual classic? I'm just wondering. I'm seeing that, it's only getting 4 out of 5 stars, so I'm interested to hear what reviewers say about this.
Okay, so I am almost at the end of this book, just like that much left, and we've hit our really big conflict. Something's happened, and now people are fighting. Stuff is coming out, so I have about 30 pages left. We'll see what happens.
Okay, so I am finished, and yeah, just know. How did this book get to be on so many recommended reading lists? This is a great work of Catholic fiction. How that happened is beyond me. It's a good reminder to me that you are what you read. This book is really dark and depressing, and it made me feel that way. I was so glad to be done with it. I never would have finished it if it hadn't been for the challenge. It would have gone right to the DNF, did not finish pile. Okay, so we're both done, and we're down to our final thoughts about the books. You go first, Kate.
So I had a great little time with this book. It's low stakes, historical fiction, the time travel, it all worked together really nicely for a fun little read.
Oh, I'm so happy for you, because no, I cannot recommend this. Surely there must be other better choices for Catholic fiction out there. Not only was it a sad, depressing story, but this is also a very sad, depressing copy of the book. Whoever had it didn't like the story and wrote all kinds of little doodles and things like this throughout the book. So it was just a bad copy to read even. So yeah, definitely not a good foray into the world of fiction for me.
So let us know down in the comments if you've ever read either of these books and what you thought. Did you like The Power and the Glory? Let us know.
Am I the only one who didn't like it? No, because remember I checked the Amazon reviews. So yeah, just Ew. Better luck next time, right?
Anyway, so we hope you enjoyed today's video, the challenge. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.